Hello and welcome to Small Business Snippets, the new podcast from smallbusiness.co.uk. I'm your host, Anna Jordan. In the first collection of episodes, we'll be looking at small business milestones, those real defining events of entrepreneurs. Think landing your first client, turning a profit, and even your first major setback. Today we'll be talking about starting it all again. In the studio we have Rafael dos Santos, a Brazilian-born entrepreneur who left a job at Microsoft in Sao Paulo to move to London at the age of 21. He spent his first 2 years working as kitchen porter, cleaner, glass collector and waiter to pay his expenses. Between 2005 to 2014, he ran a successful rental accommodation agency with a turnover of £1.2 million. He then decided to launch another venture, a PR firm called High Profile Club. He also has an award-winning TEDx talk and is on the Sunday Times 100 Most Inspiring Entrepreneurs in the UK list. Hello, Rafael.
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
How are you doing?
I'm good, yes. I'm having my cup of tea, so thank you.
Well, great. Let's crack right on. So I guess I'll start by asking, why did you decide to start it all again and launch another company?
Sure. So it was actually during the time I just completed my MBA from Henley Business School, and we had a class. It was a whole weekend on what would you do if money wasn't an issue. And we had, obviously we had our tutor there and, explaining, and we had to explore. I keep thinking, what would you do? And one of the things that I realized that I absolutely love the media. I like not only being featured, but I like working with journalists. I've always enjoyed PR. So that's when I decided to invest initially what was a marketing and PR company. But because there are a billion out there, so how do you make yourself different from all the others? That's when the marketing and PR agency moved on from being an agency to becoming a club. And then it's been very successful since 6 months ago. And we are about to celebrate our 50th client.
Wow,
Yes.
Brilliant. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So take us back to that first sort of kitchen table idea, set the scene.
Yes.
Where did you think of the idea? What's the story behind it?
It was when I was talking to my husband. I was at home and I said, what could I do to use my skills? Because that's one thing that was great at the MBA. It was all about using your expertise and your skills and not worry about the things that you don't know, because then you can hire those people, right? So if you don't have the strength, don't try to become good at what you don't like. And I was discussing with Will, and then I said, what do you think? He said, we are very good at people. You like events. Why don't you try something along those lines? And that's when I thought, maybe instead of just trying to sell, a campaign, I then help people with introductions to the media, because I have a lot of contacts. And that's when slowly, and then I pitched to a friend, and then I pitched to someone that I didn't know. And then the person said, I didn't know, I said, how much is it? And that's immediately I thought, okay, there is something here. And then I pitched to someone else that I didn't know, and then I asked, how much is it? And then that's when I thought, okay, there is value in this. And then quickly it went from, I should be doing, to this is what I have, and then created benefits around it.
How was the process?
So it was something that initially I thought I will have like 15 types of benefits in there. And then I realized that it was too much. It was overwhelming. So the whole process really was getting feedback from people that I was speaking to. And they didn't know I was speaking to them. I said, I have this idea. Can I speak to you? But really what I was doing, it was a kind of market research to get their feel in this. Then they always, at the end of this coffee I was having, they said, by the way, how much is it? Can I join if you launch? And that was the idea. That's what I was testing. If they saw value in it and they want to be part of it, then they would be prepared to pay. And that's when I thought, okay, so that is something. But I think what really works is it's because it's genuine. I didn't create it just because I want to make money. I created because I genuinely love what I'm doing. And I think people see that and they want to be part of something that is obviously is of the benefit for them as well.
So compared to the first time around, what had you learned, and did you make any of the same mistakes again?
No, because, I had a property business, which was very different from this one. But there were things that I knew it would be different. So this time, what I learned is I didn't try to sell to 100 people at once. I didn't put adverts and get lots of people to contact me. So I did my research first. I spoke to a bunch of people that they were not in direct contact with me. There were introductions. So in a way, they would be more honest with me and say, actually, I don't like this, or this is not for me, or, it's too expensive. They don't want to buy. And that was the key thing learning for me, getting the feedback and what people really want as a service and what they're prepared to pay.
How about investment?
So at the beginning, luckily for this business, I didn't have to have lots and lots of investment. It's not like property that you need to have a lot of cash up front.
Sure.
So most of my growth now is actually organic. It was, I put very little. Just so you know, like in 2016, I did a research and we found out that the average that people need to start and grow a business in the UK is 5,000. And this is exactly what I spent, with websites, with interns and an office space, co-working space today. So you need around 5,000. And I've been lucky in a way that people love the services. So we are getting more and more clients. So I didn't have to get any investment. I didn't have to get any loans or anything. So it was all organic growth.
And of course, I'm going to ask about Brexit. How has that affected your business so far?
So Brexit hasn't affected this business, but I had one that I actually lost my business because of Brexit. So, people don't understand how it changes lives. I had a co-working space for migrant entrepreneurs, and then I lost investment because of Brexit. So it turned my life around. I was completely broke at the time, 2016, which was very difficult. I think one of the things that I talk about now is we love sharing when everything is going well. And I think, that's why Facebook and all the social medias can cause, depression and this and that, because we think that everyone else is having an amazing time. Everyone else is having an amazing, perfect life. No one has that, everyone can pay for it. So it's hard. So when I saw that the business was not going to work, instead of sharing with others, I took all the burden, I took all the problems. And it just became so overwhelming and then led me to becoming depressed. It was only when it got really bad that then I realized I was depressed, because my nature is not, I'm happy and that's when I decided to open up to my husband. And that's when he said, okay, we need to get help here. That's another problem. It's kind of taboo. Nobody talks about being depressed. It's okay if you break your arm and people see that your arm is broken, obviously, then you have the plaster and people say, oh, I'm sorry, what happened? But nobody talks about any kind of mental health. And now, I talk openly and I say, if you have a friend and your friend suddenly disappeared, go and talk to that friend. Most probably is going through a lot of problems and doesn't want to talk to people, which is the bad thing to do. You have to share, you have to talk to others. And depression is something that a lot of people are so embarrassed, they don't want to burden others, and they feel bad because they don't know what's happening. They think it's just sadness, and it's not. So what happened to me was that it was, I was losing my business. I thought I was losing my identity, and I did lose. And I did therapy and I did coaching, and I had to take medication. And I have no problem now telling people this is what happened, because the same way that this could happen, I could break my leg, I could break my arm, I could have, whatever problem it is, and you're not embarrassed to talk about. So it was only doing therapy, that talking about it, that then I start sharing and I start seeing that things are not as bad as I thought they were. And then I start telling close friends, and then they made an effort, which was brilliant. They made sure that they called me all the time. They invited me to go for walks, and they forced me to do that in a way. Say, I will be there and I'll be waiting for you, so you have to come. And in a way, it was good, because then I started leaving the house and I start talking, and then I realized the monster is not as big as we paint in our heads. Right?
That's it, isn't it? Yeah. What kind of symptoms do you think that entrepreneurs are most susceptible to?
I think anxiety is number one. Yes, it's that, especially at the beginning, is this going to work? Can I pay my bills? And that's when I said, don't leave your job until you have at least a break-even point so you can pay your bills. Otherwise, you're just going to get so anxious about everything, and the business is not going to work because your mind will be preoccupied with thoughts of, is this going to work? And then you don't sleep at night, and then you don't work well during the day because you didn't sleep, you're tired. And so it creates this terrible vicious circle. But this time round, so far, touch wood, I have been lucky that it hasn't changed much. And I see actually more people want to become more visible because obviously they see more opportunities now with Brits, within their market.
How much of a high profile club is made up of migrant entrepreneurs, would you say?
At the moment, it's 70% migrant, 30% Brits, mainly because I do a lot of work with migrant entrepreneurs. I've done a resort, I did a TED talk. So I'm an advocate for migrants. So you tend to attract people that are similar. They understand the story.
What's your approach to hiring employees?
Well, one, they need to understand what it's like to be a migrant. So they should have either studied abroad or lived abroad at some point, or maybe their husband or wife or partner, whatever it is a foreigner or a migrant, whatever words they want to use it, because that's the environment that we live in. So we need to make sure that the person understands that. That's number one. And number two is they need to be passionate and knowledgeable in whatever they're going to be doing.
What would be the moment that you'd say, yes, we're doing okay?
I think is when probably we have enough clients on a monthly basis. We have enough referrals because people know us. We establish in the sense we know we can pay the rent, we can pay all the salaries. And I think at that break-even point that you feel relaxed and say, okay, now everything is covered. We can really now start to grow a bit more. I think it's the point that every entrepreneur wants, is that stability, financial stability, knowing that we have enough clients to pay for everything.
What kind of advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are just starting out?
Yeah, I think if you are not entirely sure what you're going to do, don't leave your job just yet. I did that for a while, from 6 months, where I had a job and I started my business. And I think it's important for people to kind of start break even running their job and their business, and then they can leave employment. Because if you're not secure financially, then you're not creative, you don't feel like networking, and then the business doesn't work. So that's number one. Number two is network like crazy. Go to every single event that you possibly can. Go to Eventbrite, search for events, attend, get your business cards out there. But after that, what is really important is to follow up, which is something that we do really well. So it's not just about meeting people, getting lots of business cards and then putting in your drawer. You need to send emails. You need to get, conversations going. If you don't have contact with people, they don't know who you are, they don't know your services, then you're not going to sell.
Great. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up there. Thank you very much for your time, Rafael.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
You can find out more about High Profile Club over at highprofileclub.com and visit smallbusiness.co.uk for more guidance on how to get your business going. While you're there, remember to follow us on Facebook at smallbusiness.co.uk and Twitter at smallbusinessuk, all lowercase. Join us next time when I'll be finding out how one entrepreneur rocketed from 30 to 850 clients within 1 year. Until then, thank you for listening.